All right, folks, good evening and welcome to another date with the Friday edition of Journalist Hangout. I'm Citizen Jones. Today on the program, Senator Ali Ndume says he finds it unsafe to go to his hometown, Gwoza. He insists the security situation there is still very critical. This is as the army declares Daru Salam a terrorist organization. Now, Vice President Osinbajo says federal government won't sweep underlying issues in Kaduna killings under the carpet. And later on, we'll share this with you. Akwa Ibom NUJ boycotts Fani-Kayode's press conference in protest against verbal assault on Daily Trust reporter. I'm hanging out with Babajide Kolade Otitoju, BKO. Jide, I greet you.
I greet you, Citizen Jones.
There's also our brother and colleague Wale Adeoye. He's joining us via Skype. Wale, I greet you. Good evening.
Good evening. How are you doing?
I'm fine.
Good evening,
thank you.
Akara Ogun.
Okay, that's a new one.
That's his name.
Akara Ogun. Okay, then. So the team is ready. I hope you are. Needless to say that the distressing times in our country are unabated, the high and the mighty enveloped too. The senator representing Borno South, who doubles as chairman committee on army, Ali Ndume, is a distraught man as we speak. He confessed that he finds it unsafe to go to his hometown, Gwoza. The situation is still very dire, with as many as 75 people killed in one night. And also hear this, the Nigerian army has formally pronounced an Islamic body in Nigeria, the Darul Islam, as a terrorist organization. Miserable times indeed, Jide.
Yes, we have to be really worried about what is happening. Borno State is still not safe, and when the senator referred to 75 people being killed, he was referring to the events of 2014. Not that it just happened. He was just trying to do a kind of tie back to the unfortunate situation. The truth is, he's not by birth from Gwoza. Gwoza is his local government. He's from Ambagda. So Ambagda is just about 2 kilometers to Gwoza, but it's a no-go area. Nobody dares go there. Gwoza is safe, but as soon as you step out of Gwoza, you're on your own.
Gwoza, very popular name.
Yes.
I hear they train most of our military police
yes,
there.
the mobile police force has a training camp in just near Gwoza, a place called Limankara.
Okay.
You know, and they used to make use of the mountains, the Mandara mountains, you know, for their training and all that. But they dare not climb that mountain now because since 2012, the Mandara mountains have been the home of Boko Haram. And for ordinary people, you don't even contemplate climbing that mountain. When Boko Haram attacked in 2014, some of those who tried to escape, they climbed that mountain, but many of them were killed. So now that's where they stay. And it enables them to see what's going on in the area because the mountain is vast, stretching all the way to Mubi. You know, it's far, and there are different mountain ranges that can take you to Cameroon. So the mountain, the Mandara mountain, is a range of mountains and quite big. So it's the home for Boko Haram. So this Ambagda is his hometown, and that is the hometown of the Emir of Gwoza. Both of them now, they can go to Gwoza with military escort, but their own village, the village of their birth, they do not go there. It's the same is also true of the House of Reps member, you know, Usman Baba Ojaha, who represents Gwoza, Damboa, and Chibok, constituency in the House of Reps. He comes from Chigide. Chigide, nobody lives in Chigide. He's from Gwoza local government, but his own town, Chigide, is a no-go area. Nobody lives there.
Perhaps one of the LGs that were initially overrun by Boko Haram?
The truth is, Boko Haram overran. What I can tell you is the truth is there is no local government in Borno State that is totally free of Boko Haram influence or presence. So we can capture the local government headquarters and you find that the communities, the small communities around it are not safe. This is the situation. And Gwoza is a typical example. You have a situation in which Pulka is safe. What's it called? Is safe. Gwoza is safe. But the people living in the surrounding villages, they've all fled to the IDP camp in Pulka because outside of those two communities, it's dangerous to go anywhere. Yeah. So this is the thing. The Commissioner for Energy in Borno State, Energy and Housing Development, he can't go to his village. What's his name? Senator Ali Ndume can't go to his village. House of Rest member Usman Baba Ojaha cannot go to his village. I've said this on this program. I'm happy because many people thought I lied when I said it, but I'm happy that Senator Ndume himself has come out to say, yes, I cannot go to my village. So this is the thing. And to buttress what I said in the past, the governor of Borno State, his hometown is Zulum. Zulum is in Monguno local government. The governor has not gone to his village for years because nobody is there anymore.
For obvious reasons.
Yes, nobody is there and it's not safe.
Wale, you know, these are crazy times, as I said. You remember the president of Chad Republic was in the news when he took on the Boko Haram elements frontally, if you see what I mean. I thought we should have built on the gains. Do you understand me? Because what we are hearing now is particularly depressing.
Yeah, what the senator has said is the naked truth. Gwoza is about 135 kilometers away from Maiduguri. And like Gide said, it's rocky, it's hilly, it's a natural barrier between Cameroon and Nigeria. And Boko Haram started coming to this community in 2009. But in 2014, their numbers increased because of the attack on Sambisa forest. So they see this area as a safe haven. Now, when you are talking of a senator of the Federal Republic, even if this community is safe of ordinary citizens, because Senator Mohammed Ndume, Ali Ndume is a symbol of Nigerian authority, he will be a prime target of the insurgents. So it will not be safe for him to go to that area because of the fact that definitely if he goes, the terrorists will like to target him. So I think what he has said is a reflection of the fact that it is not yet Uhuru in our fight against terrorism.
No.
Because if people cannot go back to their villages, people like senators, then you surely will have to admit that the Boko Haram remains, though the hurt may have been severe, but it still remains as dangerous as ever. And it shows that we still have a long way to go in terms of tackling insurgency, especially in the northeast.
All right. It will do us a lot of good to hear Babajide when he lent his voice to the issue of unsafe communities in Borno State. Let's go there. Let's go there.
Borno State is largely insecure. Borno State is a dangerous area. There are places that you cannot go to. This is a fact. And I've said it repeatedly that even the governor of that state, his hometown, since 2014, nobody has lived in his village. This is a fact. I dare anyone to challenge me that I lied. Zulum town is located in Monguno local government. That is the hometown, the birthplace of Governor Zulum, even though he grew up with his parents in Mafa local government. But that's the birthplace. He has not gone home since 2014. It changes anytime. A place may be safe today, but the enemies may choose to strike there the next day. So both the army and the government, they just have to be careful. And when people like Senator Ndume advise us, we need to listen. Ndume has not been able, his own word, and Baghdad, his own word, and Baghdad in Gwoza local government has been unsafe for many years. Ndume has not gone to his word. Gwoza, the town, is safe, but the communities around it are not. So he's speaking from experience as someone who sees it, who feels it. So we need to take what he has said seriously.
All right, that report came on July 30th, so it's still, the currency is still there. But let's look at the other leg to this story. The group Daru Salam, it sounds Greek to me, is now formally declared a terrorist organization. What does that tell you?
Yes, but they've always been a terrorist organization. It's just that we have now officially labeled them so. The army has now officially labeled them so. They've been carrying out terrorist activities. They've been kidnapping people. They've been kidnapping people for ransom. They used to be part of Boko Haram. There are many splinter groups of Boko Haram that are all over the place, calling themselves different names, army of the Khalifa, this and that, so all kinds of groups have now sprung out of Boko Haram that we can safely label them as terrorist groups. Now, the army has had to confront these people, especially in the north central and northwest, and they've had to arrest them, deal with them decisively, and they know that the people that they are at war against have all the trappings, all the characteristics of a terrorist group.
Yeah, yeah.
That's why I'm not surprised that the army has come out to say, look, this group is in the north central. I think in Nasarawa State or so.
Niger.
Is it Niger?
Niger State.
And you know there are forests in that area.
Very, very close to Mokwa. That's what we are told.
Yes. Okay. And all of those areas are heavily forested. So there are places for them to hide. And you can see that Niger State has been one state where the activities of bandits, we have not been able to put a stop to in the last few months.
Niger State has the largest landmass in
yes,
the whole country.
Yes, the largest state in Nigeria by landmass. After that, Borno State and then Calabar.
Yeah, Wale, you know, still talking about this group, the Daru Salam. The first time they had a confrontation with the security folks was in 2009, we were told. Many of them were arrested and quizzed and released. But here we are. It's become a full-blown terrorist organization.
I think this is another very dangerous development because Daru Salam, though, is not a localized organization. In fact, it had its root as far back as 1942 in Indonesia. And it has a lot of cells across the world. So the ideology of this group is that Sharia is the only law that they have respect for. So they don't have respect for any state constituted outside the dictates of their own understanding of the Sharia. So the danger is that it is most likely that this group will have a kind of collaboration from outside the country, especially in Asia, where the group started in 1942. So I think it's not a very good development at all. The government has done the right thing to make this declaration on time. And I hope that the security agents will beam the searchlight on this group to avoid a situation where it will grow into another monster. Because it's not just going to operate locally. It has the potential of getting support from similar organizations across the world. So I hope that we are going to do the right thing at the right time. And like Gide said, it's a splinter group, more groups that are, breaking off from the mainstream Boko Haram. So it's not a good development for Nigeria. And I hope that the authorities will do the right at the right time, strengthen the intelligence networking to make sure that they tackle and nip it in the at the bud before it gets out of hand.
Yeah. Jide, because Boko Haram started like a child's play in 2002, and here we are dealing with a Frankenstein.
Yeah.
So if we have the Darul Islam in the mix, then what are we talking about?
We have Daru Salam, we have Ansaru, different groups.
Oh boy.
Different groups, have come out of Boko Haram. Some of them have relocated now to the northwest. We used to think that was not the case. Some of them, even Shekau has opened up cells in the north central because during the last Salah celebration, members of Shekau's group uploaded pictures that were taken in Niger State. So some of the criminal actions, some of the criminal actions taking place in Niger State, like kidnapping, like attacking soldiers and all that, can actually be linked to these terrorist groups. Remember, there was an attempt to rescue some fellows, contractors who were kidnapped on site in Niger State.
That's it.
And these terrorists responded by killing the soldiers who came for the rescue operation.
Wale talked about, the phrase, I hope government will. This is when you need intelligence gathering, and it is key.
Yes,
over time.
Intelligence, and the intelligence has to be factual, it has to be credible. Many times, people provide intelligence for the armed forces that will send our armed forces on a wild goose chase. This is not good enough. We need credible intelligence, and there's evidence that some of the intelligence that we get to have helped us in taking actions quickly that prevented an escalation of this kind of problems. So we just need to work on that. And then I commend the Air Force for their constant sniffing for information, the efforts of the reconnaissance team, flying overhead and trying to locate and pinpoint where the Boko Haram guys have their cells and their camps. And you can see that we have stepped up attacks on the fringes of the Lake Chad, what they call the Tumbus, the islands of the Lake Chad. In the last few weeks, we've been bombarding them seriously because the guys using the reconnaissance platform of the Air Force have been able to locate, while flying at high altitude, the camps of these guys where they've now gone to take out their leaders during meetings, take out their foot soldiers and all that. So we have to continue to work at. Once we do this, and the Army and the Air Force, they are working in tandem, you can then take over the location so that they don't go back there. But beefing up the number of troops that we have is important. And this week, the president gave approval for recruitment into the armed forces. This is the only way. The only way to defeat an insurgency, the kind of insurgency we are facing, is to outnumber the enemy by ratio 4-1. If you cannot outnumber the enemy by ratio 4-1, you will not be able to win. Because you then find yourself in a situation in which a town that you have claimed now, you still have to go back there maybe 1 year after, because you chase them out of the place, but you don't have enough troops to hold the ground. So you then have to go back there again when you hear information that they are back there. That is what is happening. We have to put troops on ground. Everywhere we snuff them out, we have to hold the territory.
Wale, we can quickly go there. Volunteering information is very key in these things. How do you get Nigerians to volunteer information? And you're talking about trust. And you see what I mean?
First of all, Daru Salam, just to quickly say this, establishing a foothold in Niger State constitutes a threat to Kogi State, the neighboring states, Kwara, Benue. So it means that if you don't deal with this organization on time, you are going to have another foothold of terrorism just very close to the southern part of the country. Already you have one northeast, and then you have the bandits operating in the northwest. So it's really very dangerous to have a 360-degree coverage of this country with terrorist organizations. So I think the best way we can collect intelligence is that the military itself must be seen as an organization that commands public respect. It means it must improve on its human rights record. You know, we must partner with the people in a way that people will have confidence that you are here to defend us. So that when armed robbers or bandits operate in a community, when you go to that community, don't just destroy the whole communities. Try and identify the perpetrators of crime, and then don't just make sure you levy the communities and thereby making enemies after those people that are supposed to protect. So the human rights record of the Nigerian military is crucial to their having a kind of public collaboration, community collaboration in terms of intelligence gathering and in terms of building a mechanism that is driven, by public interest, so that the people can work with the military authorities to ensure that they can deal with this problem, in a way that we also benefit the military itself.
Yeah. Okay. In taking this home, Jide, the president has given approval for recruitment. Good. Yeah. But it goes beyond just recruitment, because insurgency won't wait.
It won't wait, but if we don't recruit, we cannot defeat these people. Yeah. I've said it before. Some time ago, I think in 2014 or 2013, we sent troops to Mali. We had to bring them back because we realized that we had pressing need at home. And that job can be done by only a good number of soldiers. When people say, oh, we don't have the army in so-so community, look at how big Borno State is.
Yeah.
Where a single local government in Borno State is bigger than a whole state in the southeast. Talking about Kukawa local government, talking about Magumeri local government. These are local governments that are bigger than a state. So how many troops do you want to put in Borno that will suppress these guys? They will simply look at areas where we have ungoverned spaces and go and be operating in those places. Yeah. We just don't have enough troops that we can stretch across all the areas where we can identify threats. So that's why we need more troops.
Gadgetry is important.
It's important. We've always talked about that. But look, the truth is, when you take a place from the enemy, you have to put boots on ground.
Oh, yeah.
America knew it could not do it alone during the Gulf War. That was why it built a coalition. Despite the fact that the U.S. at a point had about 400,000 troops in Iraq. It knew that 400,000 troops would not be enough. A country like Syria contributed about 50,000 troops. Egypt, almost the same figure as well. So you need enough soldiers so that when you crush the enemy at a location, you put some of them there. Their presence there ensures that those guys cannot come back to that location. And if they want to come back, they would be resisted. But in a situation in which you don't have enough, you merely take out the enemy and then you go to another place where you think you are needed. It cannot help our situation. Many of the communities in Borno State are not defended at all. Because we just do not have enough manpower to defend a wide area like Borno State. Sambisa alone is 6.5% of the entire Nigerian landmass. 6.5%.
All right, we have a call here from Calabar. I hear Eden.
Yes, Mr. Ige, I'm calling from Calabar.
I greet you, sir. Welcome.
Hello?
Yeah, go on. You're on air.
Yeah, this is Mr. Ige, I'm calling from Calabar.
We heard you. Go on.
Okay, I said the problem we have, the military especially the Air Force, they are trying their best. But what I'm trying to suggest plainly is that they should try to tell Nigeria the truth. The Air Force, what they are getting, the Air Force, what the Air Force as a whole, they are doing, they are publishing. I don't think what they are publishing every day, they bomb there, every day, bomb here, we start seeing pictures, they are using geographical shows. Let us see what they have done. Let us see it's real, like US, if they bomb. As a whole, they bomb Al-Qaeda, you see that, oh, they have killed also Al-Qaeda, they have killed also people. We see it. It's not to show us this thing from the air.
All right. Well, but he has a point there.
He has a point. They send, they usually release videos shot by the aircraft. That's the Air Force. They usually release videos shot by the aircraft showing the accuracy of the bombing. So, but they need to do more. That's the point that is making. Right. And the army too needs to do more.
After all, pictures tell stories.
Yeah, yeah. And you can see the Boko Haram, anytime it attacks our forces, they will go and shoot the video. You know, sure they are trying to crush us through propaganda. Crush in inverted commas now. So we too must rise up to the challenge and build confidence in our people that this is a war that we will win.
All right, the debate continues. Of course, one big story is that the president has approved the recruitment of soldiers. Please latch onto it. Now, still to come, Vice President Osinbajo says federal government won't sweep underlying issues in Kaduna killings under the carpet. Please stay tuned for that. Now then, let's take you to Kaduna in a manner of speaking. You know, the mindless killings in southern Kaduna are not just terrifying, they are indefensible, more so in peacetime. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo has voiced the infuriation of the central authorities. As far as he is concerned, the government would not sweep the major underlying issues regarding the conflict under the carpet. Some of them are injustice, economic marginalization, and the persecution of the guilty parties. A major cause of this stress in our jurisdiction is the failure to punish bad behavior, Jide.
Yes. And a lot of the people who are even killing our people are not Nigerians. Yet we can't get hold of them and bring them to justice. It's unacceptable. We must punish those who are promoting the violence in southern Kaduna, those who have turned this into an ethno-religious conflict. We have to deal with them. We have every reason to deal with them because when we do not punish impunity or crime of any sort, it bolsters those who would want to do such a thing because they will easily point at the fact that this person did it and got away with it, you know? So we must make up our minds that the people who promote violence, who kill our people, and the unfortunate thing is that the killings in southern Kaduna, the bulk of the victims are women and children and very old people. These are people that shouldn't even die in war. These are people that shouldn't even die in war. By the Geneva Convention, I know that this is not conventional warfare, but why should we allow the targeting of young people, 5-year-olds, 3-year-olds, to continue? The Sultan spoke about the need for us to find a way to end this shameful conflict in southern Kaduna, and I'm happy that the VP also spoke along that line. We must not allow this to continue. That's why, you know, 3 times this week, we spoke about this, the need to find peace. We must encourage our government to do all within its power to ensure that peace is brought to southern Kaduna. There was a time when there was peace there. So it's possible for us to return to that era when people enjoy living in that area, when people did not bring up arms against one another. And I've said before that if it was possible to put an end to the killings in the Mambila area, the killings between the Fulani and the indigenous people of Mambila, this one too is possible. If it was possible to end the killings between the Ife and Modakeke.
Yeah.
You know, it is possible to end the killings in southern Kaduna. All it takes is for the contending parties to be sincere in their quest for peace. What usually happens is that, oh, we want peace, but in their hearts, they still want to continue to take people's life needlessly. So government, we are making progress in that area, given what happened in Atiab Chiefdom. We want to see that extended to other parts of southern Kaduna. Let the Hausa Fulani and the the Christians from southern Kaduna come together and admit that they've wronged one another and ask for forgiveness of one another. Because this thing is mutual destruction that is going on there. There is no party that is not guilty. It's not as if only one side has been killing other. No, they are both guilty of killing one another. So they should be ready to forgive one another and embrace a life of peace.
And because a war like that, atrocious as it is, always has no end.
No, it has to.
It goes on like that until something concrete is done.
We must fight for peace. We must make up our minds that enough is enough, that we want to fight for peace and be single-minded about it. I'm confident that from the president to the governor of the state, if we are truly determined to find peace, we will find peace.
We can.
We will find peace. I'm confident.
Yes, we can, Wale. Yes, we can. But you know, we say intelligence is telling us most of these, the perpetrators of these dastardly acts are not Nigerians. But look at the map. Katsina is up there, Kaduna here. And so how do they get that far and wrought mayhem and they're not apprehended? Are you as worried as I am?
Yeah. Where there's no justice, people will be tempted to revenge. They would like to take laws into their hands. I have been involved in the Southern Kaduna issue for a very long time. We organized a conference for them twice, and the governor Rufai, he came through his representative, Muyiwa Adekeye, and the current commissioner for information was also there to declare the conference open. We brought in all the parties together, all the ethnic groups, the major actors. What we discovered was that there are moderates, there are conservatives, and there are extremists on both sides. The extremists on both sides are the most dangerous. They don't want the crisis to end. They feed on the crisis. They are either involved in selling arms to people, or they have genuine grievances. Maybe their parents, their brothers have been killed, and they just want revenge at all costs. They don't want that crisis to end. They believe the only way is for one party to exterminate the other. Then the moderates, which I think is what the government should identify these people and make use of them on both sides, who are saying that, look, my father is Fulani, but I'm Gwari. My mother is Gwari, but my father is Fulani. And look, Kaduna has a long history. It became the capital of northern Nigeria in 1917. And the state itself was created in 1967. So it was like the watershed of northern history. And we don't want Kaduna to be like a mother that is constantly raped by our own children. The people need to realize that if there is conflict, if there is killings, there is no way the state can develop. It's a wild wind that blows nobody any good. And I don't think the governor of the state also wants this crisis to continue. If this state continues, there's no way it will add anything to its own reputation. So we need to identify the moderates among these people and work with them. Those who believe that they can reclaim the history, the heritage, of Kaduna as a source of pride to northern Nigeria. A city where people like Amadou Bello did sign all the plans for the greatness of northern Nigeria. Where several meetings were held, about the future of northern Nigeria. Some people just came and woke up one day and said, look, this state must be turned into a kind of atomic society in perpetual conflict with itself. We should not allow that to happen. And I also urge Nigerian leaders that even if you are not from Kaduna, a threat to stability anywhere is a threat to stability everywhere. We must show concern. We must be all involved in our effort to bring peace and tranquility to Kaduna State. So I think what the Vice President has said is a very good development, and we hope that they will match their words with action.
Okay. Thank you very much. Looks like we can get through now to the Commissioner for Homeland Security in Kaduna State, Sam Aruwan. Sam, good evening to you.
Good evening.
Yeah. Sam, what can you tell us now? I know as you speak with me, you are not a happy man.
Certainly, if you follow the development that has been unfolding in southern part of the state within the last 2, 3, 4 months, it has not been an easy one. But within the last 1 week, we have signs that have shown that if we work very hard, if all parties see reason for peace to dwell, definitely we will coast home with victory. So we are happy and optimistic that once we sustain the present development, we will be able to smile at the end of the day. But beyond boots on the ground, it is important for people to know that human lives are at the center of this crisis. If you look at the fact on the ground, majority of those that have been killed are largely children and women. And again, you also have to look at the economic implication because a lot of people will not be able to access their farm land, and which will snowball into food insecurity, and the local economy at the local level will have a severe implication. Yeah. But I want to assure you that on the side of Kaduna State government, like my elder brother mentioned, who was with us 2 or 3 years ago, government is deeply committed about this. And like I said, we cannot be able to have security assets in the nook and crannies of the entire Kaduna State. It's very, very difficult. Birnangwari local government, for instance, is about 6,000 square kilometers, which is almost the same size of states like Adia and others. Yeah. But there's a need for communities, there's a need for stakeholders, there's a need for people who are coming out to speak for communities to turn down.
Yes, sir.
There's a need for people to understand that you cannot stay in Lagos, you cannot stay in Abuja, or you cannot stay in the comfort of your home while you are inciting people, while you are discouraging peaceful initiatives that will bring about understanding.
All right. Honorable Commissioner, let's talk about some underlying issues which Mr. Vice President touched on. We are talking about economic, injustice, and stuff like that. Have you been able to put a finger on these things?
And the need to support victims.
And the need to support
victims.
And so in the process.
Certainly. I followed the Vice President conversation yesterday, and I can tell you that his contribution at the MBA virtual conference is largely from what Kaduna State, is largely from what federal and Kaduna State government are pursuing. Now let's look at the issues. As we speak now, we have enough security assets on the ground. We have troops of the Operation Safe Haven. We have special forces of the Army, special forces of the Air Force, the DSS. We have 2 mobile squadrons that are on the ground. Now the area is stabilizing. We have reduced the coffee hours from 24 hours to 12 hours, meaning that there is now a space for people to go back to their farms.
Sam, quickly. Sam, because time is tight, but quickly, how difficult is it to nab a perpetrator, just one, How difficult is it?
Well, it's very difficult because issues related to any matter in Kaduna State is driven around religion, politics, and ethnicity. And it's very, very difficult. It has so many interpretations. But I want to assure you that we're up to the task and we're doing our best.
Sam, because if nobody is punished, this thing will continue. I hope you know
the issue of a criminal justice system is also something that we're strengthening. As I speak to you, we've recruited or employed about 40 magistrates. We have about 8 suspects that are presently undergoing investigation. Okay. And as soon as possible, they will be arraigned in court. And I want to assure you that everything will be done in public. Nothing will be swept under the carpet.
Because we wish you Godspeed. If you do that, there'll be a lot of the reassurance will come from the inside. Wish you well, Samuel Arunwa, Commissioner for Homeland Security in Kaduna State. Jide he has spoken. Yes. We take his words for it.
Well, we can only wish them Godspeed. We want to see an end put to the animalistic killings in Kaduna, and it is my wish that everyone that is involved will rise to the occasion and ensure that we put this nasty chapter behind us.
Yeah, how do we talk about this in supposed peacetime? Okay then, Wale, you have anything, you've heard the commissioner there?
Yeah, I think there are a lot of people in that government that are genuinely committed to resolving the crime, and I think the commissioner is one of them. I've had cause to meet him during the conferences we had in Kaduna. And I'm sure even the governor, in his bedroom, he'll be feeling so bad, that what is going on is not good at all. I have confidence that with the efforts they are making now, I think, and with the support of everyone all over the country, I think in the next few years, Kaduna should be able to reclaim its old glory.
All right, then. The debate will continue. Let's talk about, we have a call to another gentleman. We're still talking Kaduna and the senseless killings going on in the southern part of that state. We have a gentleman to chat with us now. Is the chairman of the Christian Association in Kaduna State, the Reverend Joseph Hayab. Rev, I greet you, sir. Good evening. All right, we'll get back to you. What can we say at a time like this? Christians, Muslims, nobody. But Kaduna had been peaceful over time. You are wondering why this sudden orgy.
Look at the Atiap chiefdom that had been attacked repeatedly in the last few months for 28 years. They enjoyed peace. Suddenly, there was this violent combustion in that place. So we just have to remain vigilant as a government and as a people.
Okay. Again, as we say, ours is just to provoke the debate. Let the debate go on. But certainly, what's going on in Kaduna is avoidable. Now then, the violent outburst of a former aviation minister, Fani-Kayode, during a parley with newsmen in Calabar the other day is provoking unfriendly reactions, especially from the media fraternity. The Nigeria Union of Journalists NUJ chapter in Akwa Ibom State has directed its members to stay away from a planned press conference, planned by the said Chief Fani-Kayode. State chairman of the NUJ chapter there, Amos Etuk, said the stance was in keeping with the position taken by the national body. Well, Judy, some of our public officials have an annoying way with a breach of etiquette.
Yes, Fani-Kayode worked with Obasanjo. He was a two-time minister under Obasanjo, and Obasanjo had this nature of abusing pressmen as if they were not human beings. I remember a breakfast meeting that he called some years back. He thoroughly abused Bayo Ononuga, who was the MD of the news magazine at that time, and Kabiru Yusuf. Kabiru Yusuf,
Jide, I'm sorry.
the founder of Daily Trust.
I'm not
you know?
Interrupting needlessly. I remember that episode.
You remember?
And the question was honest. Sir, why have you not gone after this gentleman?
Yes.
Blah,
why
blah,
have you not gone after IBB?
IBB.
You know? They just asked, because at that time it was very much in the news. People thought, okay, there will be a probe and all that, you know? He just said, Bayo Ononuga, what do you call your name again?
What's your name?
He said, if you have I don't want to get involved in your petty squabbles with IBB. If you have issues with him, go and resolve it with him. He started, and it was in the same way that he abused Kabiru Yusuf, the founder of Daily Trust.
Yeah.
So, and those are journalists who have reached the top of the profession. So, politicians abusing journalists is something that we are used to. The only difference is that Fani-Kayode continued to run his mouth. He didn't even want to stop. He just continued.
But you cannot say Fani-Kayode was influenced by former President Obasanjo.
He worked under him. He could have learned one or two things from him.
Oh, really?
He worked under, yes. He was the two-time minister under Obasanjo. He could have learned one or two things from him. So I want to believe that attitude, because until he worked with Obasanjo, I never heard that he abused a journalist. So I want to believe that was one of the things that he picked up from there, because what more can we talk about?
Yeah.
You know? So the truth is, yes, sometimes too our colleagues don't even know how to ask a question. You know? Some will ask silly questions. But it does not permit you to go to the length that FFK went. In fact, a colleague, Omoni Bieton, was even suggesting, he said, he could have asked the question this way: Sir, I noticed you have been on tour of some states of recent. I reckon this must involve lots of financial resources.
Yeah.
Are you doing this on behalf of the party and funded by your party, or from your personal resources as a loyal party man? Omoni's argument is that if he had asked the question in this manner, that he would not have flared up. But the problem is, sometimes when you flare up in this way, it sends the signal that what that guy said was the truth. That somebody was.
He had a little something to
Yes,
hide.
because, I mean, his response was disproportionate to what the guy said.
Yeah.
You know? It suggests that perhaps the guy touched on the truth and then ultimately touched on a raw nerve.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
when you are a big man, you must know how to conduct yourself in public. You must know how to relate with people, because even with the apology, you can see the way these guys have responded. Nobody will want to attend his press conferences because you are not sure. I've seen two instances where he said, "Oh, I didn't know you were going to ask me this stupid question," and then he got up.
Yeah.
On the same tour.
Yeah.
On the same tour. So even the Akwa Ibom people, they are not sure that if they asked him that question, he will not respond the same way. He already said, "Look, I have a short fuse." So you can expect that he will get angry in the manner. But when you are a big man, that it comes with it should come with a high sense of responsibility.
Jide, there's a caveat to it. When you are a big man, you have become public property. So
yes, that they have a right.
Come on.
Look at a journalist in the U.S. asking Trump, say, when will you apologize for the many lies that you've told the American people? Of course, we can't expect any journalist, even in his worst drunken state, to face our president and ask that question. But I just had to use that example.
Wale, this is mirroring your country, even if in an ugly manner. But this is not about to end. What do I mean? Journalists running into stuff like this. There must be a word for the journalist and perhaps a word for the big man.
Well, I think for the journalists, I can only say that we should not be intimidated. We cannot be cowed. I think what Fani-Kayode did was to diminish his own status. He brought himself down from a high moral ground, a high moral height, because this is somebody for the past 3 years has been attacking people in government, has been attacking, the president, attack people, in APC with the most vicious language. So I never imagined that he could not even stand the list of, their question.
Harmless question.
Yes, the question that fellow asked was legitimate. You go from one state to the other. Are you running a charity organization? You get there, then you come and promote it. So who is funding it? Is that fund from the purse of the public, or is it your own private fund? It's like a king.
If indeed Femi Fani-Kayode is a good student of former President Obasanjo, no comment is a comment. You could have said no comment.
No, Obasanjo will abuse you. He will abuse you. He won't let you get away.
There were other people that also work with former President Obasanjo that were never like this. I think it just reflected his own, his manners, and it's quite unfortunate because if you are holding position of authority, you must learn how to temper, your anger.
Moderate your
anger. You must learn with some kind of responsibility.
If you are short-fused, don't announce it.
Don't announce it.
Don't announce it.
That's his own way of rationalizing his behavior. It's because I'm short-fused, so that's why I did this. But how about our colleagues who stood there? And some of them were telling the guy, you see your life, and that boy too stood up. You were being abused, pilloried. You stood up like a little primary school boy, allowing him to take you to the cleaners in that way. It's wrong.
But you remember,
they should have staged a walkout.
I think we must draw lessons also from our colleagues who are across the seas. Yeah. Former President Obasanjo faced Tim Sebastian on Hard Talk. The man asked him a question, and Chief Obasanjo flipped. Can you ask your British Prime Minister that question? The man calmed down and said, Mr. Obasanjo, you have not addressed my question.
Yes.
And then he
My duty is to ask you questions. You are not the journalist. Answer my question. Don't ask me. Don't turn yourself to the journalist who asks questions. So the thing, and our colleagues stood there. They sat there. Yeah. In fact, I heard that they said that same day they said, don't go anywhere, please. Let's wait. You people that you should have walked out of him a long time ago. After the whole altercation, they were still telling themselves to remain there.
Well,
I can't believe
sometimes you don't blame those who say, will they take envelopes, green, brown, or yellow?
Of course, that's what people are saying, that they were that was why they said they should wait. I mean, it's not.
Let me speak to my colleague, the journalist.
It's not fair at all.
This job is not, repeat, not a thankless one. If you ask an honest question, stick by your question.
Stand by it,
please. That Wale, let me ask a question. Are you okay?
It's an honest. Did he complain to you that it's not okay?
Wale, thank you for your time. Thank you very kindly.
You want him to say he's short-fused?
No, he's not. He would have flipped since.
No, he's not an Obasanjo. Neither is FFK.
All right, folks, we must pack it all in. Let's thank you for your time. If you missed this episode, you may watch the program on other platforms we will display on the screen. You may also see the program on YouTube at youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. The feedback channel remains the same. And so on behalf of the Backroom Boys, who have very long temper, Judy,
they don't flip easily.
You have a long temper, and I have a longer temper. I'm Citizen Jones.
They don't have an FFK temper.
Bye-bye now. Bye-bye now.